Abkhazia and South Ossetia really happened in the 90s. What happened in 2008 was something else. You know, they had structural control over it. When we started really fast reforms, they tried to stir up trouble in Najara and South Georgia. Georgia is a small country, but it has all these different regions. There are Armenian inhabited regions and Najara is Muslim, Georgian autonomy. And what happened that we were already doing such fast reforms that we managed to totally neutralize Russian things there. Like totally, it's gone. Like any hint of separatist is gone. We tried to do the same thing in South Ossetia. The reason why war started in South Ossetia is that we recruited former South Ossetian, or not recruited, somehow attracted them, former South Ossetian separatists, those that were shooting at my government's police in 2004. We told them it's your country, we will empower you, we will give you maximum autonomy, we will really not meddle, you'll be part of development. They believed us. And in the end, Russia had no other choice left but to bring in troops to stir up trouble. But they could bring troops in Georgia because Georgia is small. I don't think they can really seriously, large-scale attack Ukraine. And that's the advantage you have. I think my recipe for Crimea, first of all, next 3 weeks or 3-4 weeks will be decided. It's a very dangerous period. But in little bit medium-term recipe is fast reforms, because when you have fast reforms, people, I don't think people in Lugansk and Donetsk are going to follow them now, but people in Crimea also will follow you if they see real advantage. Now, what they see now was that they had oligarchic, corrupt Putinian model big time applied by Yanukovych, and you had the same model in Russia. So if you choose between Ukrainian oligarchic model and Russian oligarchic model, maybe they would choose Russia. If you have to choose between like normal country and Russia, most of the Russians will choose Ukraine, not about Crimea. So that's the whole beauty, because also, you know, soft power, you will yield. Georgia had soft power over Russia after the war. In 2009, 2008, it was amazing. It was amazing how, like, Russian intellectuals, middle-class people from... I initiated one-sided abolition of visa regime with Russia. We had very strict visa regime with Russia. No Georgians would be allowed in, and no Russians would be allowed to Georgia. Then I said, okay, after the war, let's allow in every Russian. People were saying I was crazy. With that to have security issue, all these Russian spies will invade us. I said, precisely because of security, we should allow them to come. Because more of them will come, more it will be difficult to continue aggression. And then we got like 1 million Russians a year, mostly middle class from St. Petersburg, Moscow, and then they would go back and they could tell them on ORT as many times as they would tell them that we are just eating children, but they wouldn't take it. So, and that's the reason I'm telling you, Georgia was yielding soft power of Russia. Imagine if Ukraine is successful. I mean, it's not only just that they would no longer be able to manipulate Crimea. Russia, like Moscow and Pittsburgh, the other place where Russia will change so much. If Kiev is really successful, modern European place, which it might be in maximum 2 years, if it goes more right. Can you imagine what kind of example it is for ordinary Russians? First of all, you know, I remember in the aftermath of the revolution, all of them were coming here, Orange Revolution, like, it was a fashion among Muscovites to come here for a weekend. Yeah. Just to enjoy another kind of country. Then things got bad in Ukraine and it like faded away. Now it again will come back. Especially with, now Russia is much worse than it was back then. And the atmosphere is not so good, and he will get more and more paranoid, Putin. He's approaching the end of his existence because everybody has his own political... Look, you cannot be ruling unchallenged any country in 21st century for 20 years. It just doesn't work. Mechanics, political mechanics. Putin knows it instinctively. People are saying, also some of my Russian friends, oh no, Russian people are different, oh no, they were. Whereas most of my friends in Ukraine telling me 2 years ago people are resigning to what's happening in Ukraine and Yanukovych is going to win next elections. Because people are just cynical and you know, they don't want to, they're fed up with everything, and especially after this Orange Revolution, nothing is going to change. It's even if, okay, I would say that Russians are more, because of this imperial idea, more willing to accept some of the things. Still, one-man rule for more than 20 years is not doable anyway. Even Tsars could not hold very well, so 21st century internet age. People are fed up. What's Russia's national idea? Competition with the West? People are, like, especially their elites, hate it. restoration of Soviet Union. Now that they lost Ukraine, what will be restoration of Soviet Union? From Russian nationalist view. Because, you know, like this history of nationalists, because we are restoring Soviet Union. Now they lose the Ukraine. Suddenly discovered it's another nation. So who is left? Uzbeks, Tajiks, and all the other Muslims that would come and take over Russia, right? Different stance. And so from Russia's nationalists, it's an appalling nightmare. So not a good idea. And so, and then what? What is left? First two major ideas are out. Orthodoxy, okay, but in short term, you know, when you basically, even to tell middle class there in Russia, which is more will dictate the way you live, it's very hypercritical, right? You can tell them as many times as you want that the West is all about gay rights and all this bullshit, but they don't buy it too long. So what's left? Putin's personality. It worked for a while. Flying Putin, naked Putin, this Putin, that Putin, striving Putin. Come on, they're you know, very nice relations people might have, but they're getting fed up with their family members and their boyfriends and girlfriends, right? You cannot be in love with your ruler for 20 years. It's human span and the relationship will last for some time. And when you establish this kind of personal relation with your like subjects, and there is nobody else in your politics, then it becomes like basically kind of love-hate relationship. It cannot last forever. So he is really in trouble. And from that standpoint, you know, it's really end of his spine. 2008 was different because 2008 the oil prices were the highest. Russia was having amazing oil and gas income. They felt that, you know, like everything is in their hands and they could do just anything.